Hi, love. Welcome in. It's Billy Lightwalker. Thanks for joining me today. I'm out here finally harvesting the nettles. What was wanting to be spoken about today is when we're connecting with the lands that we journey to, that call us. If we're going to see sacred sites, or maybe we feel an ancestral pull to walk the lines of our heritage, or where we meet these aspects on the land where we live. Maybe it's ancestral, meaning our family line on the lands where we live, or we are coming in communion with generations of generations of others that have lived on the lands where we live, and maybe we only recognize their imprint and don't know their names. So what often we come across is this energetic pool that becomes a conversation of, this feels very masculine, or what we like to talk about a lot in this age is patriarchal, or this side feels very feminine and matriarchal. And it's, as we exist all on this planet as our Mother Earth, our Gaia, there's also, the divine masculine moving through her. And so we come to meet these nodal points through these lands where the masculine is supporting the feminine, and where the feminine flow nourishes the masculine heart. And where we come out of balance is where some of these aspects maybe override one or the other in unhealthy ways. Or we have been allowing the suppression of one or the other. And so a lot of us who feel called to journey to these ancient sites, whatever the calling may feel, if we're retracing our heritage, our ancestry, or maybe we've been dreaming of this place, or perhaps we've been dreaming of the land that we're coming to caretake. So when we come to these spaces, we feel these callings, these interceptions move through us, through our experience there. I've felt very beautiful divine masculine move through me in many ways, going to sacred sites and unexpectedly. This is why I always say don't go with expectations, because the actual grid location knows your soul imprint when you arrive, and is ready to source this divine material through you because of your personal design, your imprint that will carry this information back and to other places. So one aspect that I wanted to speak about is when we come in communion with the land, often we will meet things that feel like blocks, or perhaps something just feels like it needs more healing, like it needs to be listened to. There was a beautiful matriarch that I was working with on landing her creative vision, anchoring her heart's vision to her land. And she had been given, the land had been given over to her family land, where there had only been the fathers of multiple generations, the men folk, that had been the main guardians, the main directors, the main navigators of the land. And so this was a very important homecoming for her. She had been living on the land for many years, but now it was coming into her stewardship. And as that was happening, the land began speaking to her that the greater vision of how her work can communicate with this and collaborate in this greater vision, this beautiful design to welcome others to this land for healing. So she began receiving a vision that seemed way far off and almost unachievable, but it kept speaking to her, and she went through the magnetic practices of listening to her heart and stabilizing, anchoring, sealing, recording, unveiling, excavating, unarchiving, all this intelligence that actually brought some deep healing to her masculine, her patriarchal connections in her family line and within her. And because of that, this beautiful metaphysical journey unfolded for her, where once these voices were heard, once these understandings were met of how these men struggled and maybe were a little hard at times, but it was their divine connection, their space to guard this template, this land for her in the highest timeline, when the timeline was ready to be met. They didn't know, and once they passed over, they had been able to come into communion with her because she was willing to open her heart to the greater conversation and willing to connect with the seen and unseen. Working these ley lines that she lives on and was ready to land this vision that felt bigger than her. And she was able to bring forward this beautiful mother temple, because step by step she continued curating. It wasn't the highest order to make everything happen at once. As little by little is unfolding and connecting the aspects of her soul that were bringing forward the unique information that she was ready to thread into this land. And it was a beautiful, beautiful experience working with her, and I received so much healing as well by seeing her, by witnessing her walk through these steps of allowing the masculine, the patriarchal lines to heal, and not to squash them or dishonor them or to push them away, dissolve them completely. It was about bringing this higher sacred union structure with the forces of the land. It was extraordinary, and she continued and is still building a marvelous, beautiful anchoring of a container that she couldn't have done all on her own. And however, she went through the sometimes very type of thing that we all go through when we're ready to open our heart to the greater vision that is trying to come through us, that is trying to anchor, and we meet some resistance, and we meet some doubt, and yet the inner fire, just once you say yes to that sacred core, that divine spark, that holy fire within that truly never dies. But when we allow it to resurrect and we nourish it with this soul's vision and these communications with the mother source, things just begin to happen. And it almost seems like effortless, and yet it's a great work that is full of a lot of consistent self-pilgrimage and self-dedication, self-devotion. And so yes, it is a powerful thing that we can do with the land, wherever we live, wherever we feel called to journey. These energetic lines of the divine masculine and divine feminine are flowing through it all. And so I invite you, I welcome you to see what your land has to say. How is it speaking to your purpose and in your mission and the things that you're here to create? So, a little noisy on the farm today. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again. Blessings.